Hi. For a very long time, I really wanted to have a flush cut saw, but I never bought one because I rarely did works that need to be flush trimmed after jointing, as I always complete flush trim my pieces before I joint them. But of lately, I've been thinking about getting one, and instead of buying, I decided to make one myself. Because there's something joyful and awfully satisfying about making something that you want instead of just buying it from the market. And so, I've got a broken piece of bandsaw blade here, and I'm gonna make my flush cut saw with this. So if you've clicked this video after seeing the shorts, watch the video till the end and learn how to make a flush cut saw. And if you have clicked this video by mistake, don't worry, your time will not be wasted. You just might learn something new here. Just watch till the end. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ajang Longjar. I've been woodworking for a very long time, and you are welcome to my wood shop. The first thing I'm going to do is measure out how long I want the saw to be. I want it around 1 full feet, where around 6 inches is going to be the saw itself, and the other half of the 6 inch is going to be the part where the handle is going to be. So let's mark it out here. I'm going to cut this out with an angle grinder. I don't want to contaminate my workshop with metal dust, that's why I brought it outside. Now I'm going to cut off the old teeth. I'm going to mark out 6 inches for the handle and trim out a little bit to make it smaller. This one is the edge that I just cut. We'll not use this one. This is the straight edge. We will use this for the saw teeth. But before that, I'll have to make 2 pinholes here to hold the handle. Both pinholes are done. Now, if you're wondering, hey, that's carbon steel. How did you drill through like butter? Well, off camera, I did a process called annealing, which is softening the steel so that the workpiece becomes softer to work with and easy to drill or cut or shape and whatever you want to do. Now, I only did the handle part, which you can see clearly in the camera. The difference in the color here. I only did the handle part and I left the saw part as it is because we need this as hard as it should be. Now it's time to cut out the saw teeth here. And for that, I've made a template with a piece of wood here. You can see the markings that I've already done. Each marking here and the gaps in between are 2 millimeters apart. This template, we're going to attach it along with the saw blade and clamp this up on the vise. And I'll use the angle grinder to cut down on each marking. Now, all the gaps that are left over after I cut it down will form the saw teeth. Now that teeth are done, it's time to sharpen it. And I'll do that with a simple saw file. That is what I'm going to do to the rest of the teeth here. This is going to take a very long time, so I'm going to cut the video to the last teeth. Now both the shaping and sharpening has been done. It's time to clean this up and get to work with the handle. Now that the handle is glued on, I'm going to keep it tightly held in between the vise. Until the resin dries. Alright, it's been 24 hours, so time to take it off. Now, before anything else, I would like to pin this off with a couple of aluminum pins, and after, sand this off into its proper handle shape. Now it's time to polish the handle and apply a finish. That is it. This is ready. From here on, this saw is ready to be used. But hold on, there's one more question that needs to be addressed. What about the kerf, or setting the saw teeth? If you're watching this video, you already know a bunch of things about hand saws, and all saws have a kerf set to the teeth. But the flush cut saws, they don't need a kerf, because the entire function of a flush cut saw is to cut materials without a kerf. That is why I'm not going to set a kerf on the saw and use it as it is. Now it's time to have a test cut with the saw and check to see if this works as it's intended to be. Here I already have a hole drilled on my bench top. I'm gonna use the dowel and drive it into the hole. Now, as you've noticed, there are no scratches on the surface here other than this one. Using the saw that I made, I'm going to try to cut out a dowel flush to the surface of this table. Now, this is a moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it a try. Okay, now let's take a good look. Given that this tear out already was there before I started cutting, and the saw moved all the way across and also from the other side, given that there are no scratch marks here, nor here, tells me that this saw works. Of course, this saw needs a little more tweaking to make it work smoother. Also, if this was some other workpiece that I was working on, I would sand it and make it smoother and seamless. So that is the video about making a flush cut saw. If you've enjoyed the video, like, share and subscribe, and I'll definitely see you on the next video.